I'm Dani Henderson, spiritualtherapist.com. And boy, do I have a surprise for you today. The lady you see in the white, her name is Elena Danaan. For those of you that don't know, Elena, what does that mean to somebody who's never heard of the Galactic Federation of Worlds? Well, our planet's in a little bit of a pickle right now. I'm not sure if everyone's noticed, but I'm pretty sure most of us have noticed. And over this time, there's been many concerned other beings, other people, other humans from other star systems and planets, because of course they exist everywhere in our beautiful solar system, in our beautiful universe. We've just been told that no, we're the only ones. Well, we know that's not true. And we know that's not true. And so what we have above us and around us and beside us are many beautiful other beings, other humans, other peoples, other aliens, extraterrestrials. And if you think this is a funny thing, this broadcast isn't for you, my love. So off you pop, bye-bye there. So anyway, Elena Danaan has been coming forth with information from the Pleiadians in the main, and she is what we call an Earth emissary, reporting on upstairs and downstairs, galactic intel and Earth intel. And she's been delivering on the front line, sleeping 4 hours a day most days, just to come, keep going, writing her books. One is called The Gift from the Stars, where she's listed and drawn, because she's a brilliant artist, many different alien species and races of other people and other humans that live on other star systems and planets. And the most exciting thing she's got to report today is that she just spent 2 hours with Enki. Elena Danaan, welcome, my friend.
A lot of things are happening at the moment, and this Earth, this planet is changing on many aspects. The great awakening of the human species of Earth, Terra, how the galactics like to call it. You know, the term alien has been always around. I prefer to say galactics. We are galactics as well, you know. Everyone has noticed the changes, and everyone also notices the last battle, the intensity that has grown, and you know, of the fights, all the misinformation storm that has started, and it is absolutely confusing for a lot of people. Everyone needs to navigate with their own discernment. Well, for those who don't know me, I am an archaeologist, and I spent many years of my life studying and working in Egypt as a permanent scientist there. And I was abducted when I was a child by aliens and rescued by good people, good aliens from the Federation. And since then, I am working with them, passing on messages and helping as much as I can. So yes, I meet beings from other star systems, other galaxies. I've done that regularly all my life, especially recently, these last 2 years. And recently I met an incredible man whose name is Ea. He is better known as Enki, who in Annunaki, their language, means custodian of Earth. They call Earth Ki. So I met this person already in September 2021 when he appeared to me. He materialized in my room, and it was quite a shock. And he was coming forward before the Intergalactic Confederation arrived in our star system just a month later in October 2021. I had the privilege to meet him again quite recently, a few days ago, on board a spaceship where I was taken. So everyone is wondering, I suppose, at this stage, who Enki is. Well, first, he's a formidable, wonderful person. The radiance of his aura, when you are in contact with him, when you are in the same room as him, the aura that strikes you, it's the frequency of love. Enki radiates love and compassion. This compassionate love is very ancient. And he has been trying to help humanity since the time great wars happened to Earth. But it is a long story, so I am going to stop here. I'm sure you have already plenty of questions.
I mean, so many. The first thing is the fact that you've actually physically met him twice. And for those of you out there that have had many, many of your own experiences, waking up at night, seeing an other being, whether you think it's a ghost, a monster, an alien, somebody from somewhere else, another human person, the fact that Elena Danaan has been going up and down on and off planet so since she was a child, since she was abducted, as many of you have also had abduction stories and other experiences, and they're not all negative, thank goodness. But this is the time where everyone's coming forward and speaking and sharing that you really are a forerunner, a real leader in this disclosure. And I'm just so happy that we're able to do this broadcast today on Enki. When he appeared in your room at night, as many, many, many have, and you've shared with all of us and you've written books about it and you've given thousands of hours away of free videos and one-to-one questionnaires, and you've just been so amazing in helping people wake up for themselves. I want to know, please, when he came to your room, why? What kind of light was around him? And what does he actually physically look like? Because the picture I've seen is a long, dark-haired, real honey with some big old muscles, you know, somebody's illusion fantasy. So how far away are we of the actual physical representation?
The whole galaxy then is so far away from this. Well, people who haven't met, who haven't seen him, of course, the only records we have two type of records for them: the Mesopotamian, Sumerian engravements, sculptures of these people with long beards and long hair, because the Sumerians were looking like that and they were representing their people like this. But we have also statues of weird looking being with big eyes and elongated skulls. So, well, second option. When he appeared in my room, I was awakened in the middle of the night, and I was actually feeling the frequency before he connected. There was a big buzz. The frequency rose in the room. It was it was like if all the cells of my being were boiling, like tingling and boiling at the same time. And something very interesting happened. I suddenly had the awareness of my blood in all the veins of my body. I was aware of my blood. It was physically, that was really weird. And then there was this vortex opening in the room, a very huge vortex. And I'm going to talk in meters because I'm French and that's my unit of measurement. So the vortex was about 4 meters high and wide. I have to say I was in a hotel room at that time. I was traveling, so it was a big room, and maybe that's why it could happen, because this being is very tall. And the vortex opened, and it was a bluish purple vortex with light coming out of it. And he came out of that. He was there floating above the ground. He's about 2 meters 50 high, I would say. He was very tall, slim, He's not the muscly person people imagine. He's very thin and long, elongated person,
Wow.
figure. He's very fit but slim. He was wearing a silver suit, and he had an elongated skull, not like the Greys. The Greys have the skull that goes big on the side, behind as well, and on the side. No, him, it was behind, elongated behind. And he had a little mouth, and his eyes were absolutely magnificent. Big almond-shaped eyes, slanted, and gray silver on a background of stars. And inside it was like crystals, crystal eyes, crystal pupils, and a background of stars behind, all sparkly. It was beautiful, magnificent. And the first thing I felt was the compassion, and my blood was responding to this. It was absolutely amazing. The frequency of my blood and my DNA was responding to this. And he started to talk to me by telepathy, but I heard a very masculine voice in my head, not dramatic at all. You could expect, I am Enki.
Look into my starry eyes.
No.
Sorry, I'm tall and thin and I'm elongated, but I'm actually really a nice bloke. Yeah, you could imagine all kinds of things, couldn't you? But how lovely. Yeah, continue.
I didn't know who that person was, but I was feeling very in trust, because of this vibration of compassion. And no, the voice was quiet and calm, a bit like when Annunaki speaks, one of my friends upstairs, very calm and quiet. And he said, I am Enki. I am father. I came back to see the rise of my children. And he said, I am father. I have shivers when I say this once again. He told me that he was coming in advance for a group that was about to arrive, which they did, the Intergalactic Confederation. He's not part of them. He came back because the humans of Earth finally have awakened to their sovereignty, and they have kicked the baddies out. The Galactic Federation of Worlds has removed all the Greys and the reptilians from Earth, and it's a time now when humans need resilience, hope, and courage for the final fight, that they kicked their own demons.
May I ask you a question? It's actually extremely important. As we are sharing, you are bringing us the actual real life, real time experiences that you've had with Enki, and we're going to speak more about him, of course. But there are so many people that are still really certain that there are reptilians here still, there are actually Greys here still. What do you say to that?
Well, if you listen to fear-mongering news, there's a lot of misinformation going around. Last year, in 2021, the Greys have been kicked out from Earth physically. The reptilians have been kicked out physically, the Sicars. The moon was liberated, Mars was liberated, and the whole star system. And by the time of the summer 2021, we were free. So the Greys are trying to come back throughout hybrid programs. So there's a lot of, since these victories have happened in 2021, suddenly out of nowhere, misinformers have just sprung out, people who are programmed for this moment in time, especially to bring the counter intelligence that no, these victories have not happened. Do not do anything. Wait to be saved. There's going to be cosmic event that will do the job for you. You know, that is very telling. So that's what I can say.
I think it's incredible. I think one of the yardsticks for people is, use your gut. Don't be swayed by how beautiful and gorgeous these people seem to be, or the ones that suddenly appear from nowhere. And but also people that say, like, I just woke up a year or two ago, and then they're espousing all of this alien information and galactic solar events and drama, or sit on your ass, have a little drinky drink, and we'll do it all for you, and Jesus is coming, and not knocking anyone's religion, but just sharing a little bit of the en masse kind of disinfo or dysmorphia that's happening. And I think, Elena, someone like you who gets a lot of attack and abuse, so much abuse from people and one-celled amoebas also, that have no themselves any experience, but have decided to pick a side, which is ridiculous. Again, I think if you're choosing a side, I don't get it. We're a humanity. We're in the moment of, this is a revolution. This is a coming into the light as the consciousness on our planet is raising. We're raising with her, and all these beloveds are here to support us. There are no sides. And, one of the things I love about you the most is that you have, from a very, very young girl age, not only your memories, but actual drawings that you drew in a book, drawings of actual physical Pleiadian beings that rescued you, Thorhan, Valnek, these guys, they belong with you, they've belonged to you for such a long time. And then when people come out and they have to ask you, oh, I think I'm talking to some Pleiadian guy, do you know what his name is? I mean, that's a real life story that happened, we both know that. I think that people who are, and it's so exciting. I mean, it's lovely when someone else news out and they're talking about stuff, because it seems to be this competition now, and as soon as we release this broadcast, there will be 15,000 others. Next, it will be, I am Enki's wife. I have 47,000 children on 100,000 planets, I mean, it's just going to happen. So we're just going to enjoy what we're doing today, just you and I, before we put this out. But again, as we're moving through, people really need to use their own discernment, listen to the information. If it feels right, great. If, but do some searching within yourself, I love that you described him in the way that you did, a gentle energy, but very much a powerful energy. I loved how your own electromagnetic physique responded, your DNA was turned on, triggered in some way, in a good way, that you felt a deliberate, calculable resonance, a different kind of being. And you said he's very ancient, it was very emotional. And I love that you're giving us that description, that we can kind of recall right in this moment from a few minutes ago, because as we go through and everyone's listening and it's going into their conscious and unconscious, it's important that certain things are delivered in a way that people go, oh my God, because for me, I'm like, okay, ancient resonance, not just your regular everyday, like, the Pleiadian signature frequency, the Andromeda signature frequency, as do I. And here we have this beautiful being from before. I want to go back a little with you on Enki, because there are many people that say, he ruined the world, and him and his brother Enlil, and then there's all these other names that get thrown in. Can you clarify, like, where he was born, what was he the king of, and then how does Enlil come into the game?
Well, as Alex Collier recently said, the winner gets to write history. Well, the one who worked at destroying Earth, I wouldn't say destroy, but enslave Earth, was Enki's half-brother, Enlil. He was the one who wanted to enslave humanity and who eventually managed to do it with the cooperation of the Sikar. It's a long story with a lot of things happening. Enlil, who was Enki's half-brother, had the plans to enslave humanity. Enki was a geneticist, he still is, and he put of his own self, his own DNA, into the DNA of a group of humans of Earth to create, first, what happened first was that the Anunnaki arrived on Earth. They wanted to mine resources.
And who are the
And
Anunnaki, my love? Who are the Anunnaki for those that have never heard any of this?
Anunnaki, Enki and Enlil are Anunnaki. It's a race of extraterrestrial beings. That's how they called themselves. When they arrived on Earth, a very long time ago, they went there, they arrived to mine resources, and it was quite physical work, and their worker class, the Igigi, rebels say, we're not doing this, that's too hard. And there was a rebellion that was dealt with. And well, there were these primates, human primates on Earth, which they knew nothing about. But these primates already had some intergalactic genetics, but the Anunnaki didn't know that. They are from our galaxy. Okay, these Anunnakis. They decide to get these primates to work for them, but they weren't very efficient, so they decide to upgrade them genetically. Enki was a geneticist, so he, on his ship, he got to just experiment. He put his own DNA in some humans, and they, after work and many experiments, they created a good template that was satisfying enough, and they created satisfying race of humans who they used a bit. So, and Lil was the chief, the commander of armies. He was also the heir of the empire. And he decided that they were going to produce more and more slaves. And Enki, is a philanthropist. He's a geneticist. He works for life. He has a passion for life. And something was bothering him because he had discovered all the intergalactic potential in the DNA of these primates already, and he wanted to explore it. And these primates these humans now had such a potential, and so he wanted to explore it, and he understood the power, like the secret gift package that was inside. And he started to not tell Enlil anymore what he was doing, and he experimented on his side, his way, and he developed a certain type of humans secretly that had all the strands of DNA activated, the 12 strands activated. And this was the first, what they call Adamu, people, humans. That. Adamu. And
sounds like Adam, everyone. I'm sure you're going to start putting pieces of all these different puzzles together. May I ask you a couple of questions before you continue? Let me just put you back on gallery here. I want to ask, so we know from the history books and the history that's been written on our planet, we know from hieroglyphs and pictographs, and what the Anunnaki look like. But where exactly did Enlil and Enki come from off planet?
Where?
Yeah.
Well, they are from a higher density. They come from at the time when they arrived on Earth, they were having rulership of the Orion Zone and the Sirius triple star system. They are hybrids from Sirius B, humans, and some gray species of Orion. So they are hybrid human grays. They're very tall. And they had, at the time when they arrived on Earth, their headquarters in the Sirius B star system. So you could call them Sirians, but they call themselves Anunnaki. things changed. The Nebu took power, and the Anunnaki withdrew from there. And the Nebu took rulership of the Orion zone. So they are from Orion, being half Syrian, half Grey. So
So
that's what I
they
would say.
themselves are an experiment, or were an experiment, and then they've come to Earth and they've experimented on beingnesses here, and then developed them. Seems to be a bit of a theme in the galaxies and the universes, doesn't there, of many different experiments. I just feel sorry for the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Every time I think about him, I think, oh, bless you with your little arms. You know, somebody really messed up on that experiment. It's just not fair. If indeed the dinosaurs did exist, right? Because there's other people that think the dinosaurs are just a cover up for the giants, you know, or you've got people who are extremely religious and that they have their beliefs like, no, the dinosaurs are there because God was having a joke just to trick us. It's all right. They didn't exist. In terms of where they're from, thank you for answering. You said higher density, then they were part of Sirius B and Orion themselves genetically with a bit of grey. Because when you hear that, you think, ooh, have I got grey in me too? Because of the original DNA, like, ooh, you know, because they smell like farts. We're not going to deny it. They're extremely ugly. And there is no way on this earth or any other planet that I reside on that I'm going to end up looking like that. And as you've said 1,000 times, the future is human, not grey, not bug-eyed, stinky ass. They smell like ass, grey. The second question I have for you is, how long ago did Enki and Enlil come to this planet, and what minerals were they harvesting?
Well, it was about, in Earth time, about 360,000 years from now. And
From now?
From now, 360,000 years. The exact date, I'll put it in my book, but it's around 360,000 years ago.
Okay.
Ago. And they were mining diverse resources. One of them was gold, because with gold they were making monatomic gold, which was a product that they use a lot, especially to extend lifespan.
Okay. All right. To extend lifespan. And I mean, so our beautiful planet, she already existed. She already had primates and other beings, other species there that were also developed by other groups, humans, peoples elsewhere. And so the Anunnaki seem to have come and just thought, right, we're having that. We're having that. Is that kind of, in a short way of saying it, is that what do you think actually happened? Or no?
Well, they weren't interested in owning Earth. They were, because nobody was really there claiming it, but they just wanted to come and take some resources. It was a free planet. You know, they just wanted to do their mining and on their own, and there was no one to stop them. So they didn't feel the need to own Earth. But as time passed and other groups arrived, they wanted to keep their settlements and their territories. So that's when custodian wars started a little bit later.
Was it mainly between the two brothers that kind of fell out? He had their own ideas.
Enki didn't have an army. He was a geneticist. He was a scientist. He had a few people that gathered around him, but Enlil was the commander of armies. So Enki just withdrew. He went back onto orbit on his ship and remained there for a long time before everyone left. So the war between, wasn't really a war, I would say, a conflict. Enki tried his best to save humanity from slavery. He worked very hard by any ways he could to avoid humanity to be enslaved by his half-brother's plan. He failed, but he took with him, there are two things. He took with him the sample, the template of the original human DNA. and he's back with it to give it back to us, to heal all our genetic damages.
Goodness me, this is brilliant. What I'm just focusing on is obviously coming more into your actual 2-hour one-to-one, but I really want to like fill in a lot of questions and spaces and, you know, concerns that people have had. There's so much disinformation, Lainey. It's just insane. So in terms of his parents, now Enlil is a half brother. Who was the mother and the father of these boys, these Annunaki men?
Well, the father was the ruler of the Annunaki Empire. He was Anu. He had a lot of concubines. Oh, yeah, yes, Anu.
Of course he did.
So both Enlil and Enki had different mothers. That's how they were half brothers. Actually, Enki was the oldest, and he was due to reign on rule on the empire, but it turned out that Enlil was took over. So actually, Enki, you know, Enki means custodian of earth. He didn't keep his title for very long, and his real name is Ea. Ea, it's beautiful. Ea.
It is beautiful.
Prince Ea.
Well, and again, there's that beautiful, you know, poet and singer and on our planet now called Prince Ea. And I love that guy. I love him. I think he picked a very smart name. So this is just fascinating. So two different mothers, but the same dad, Anu, who had a load of wives and girlfriends and, you know, did what some kings used to do, because there are no kings anymore that we're going to put up with. I want to ask you, what kind of shape, what kind of spaceship did Enki come back on?
That's very interesting. So when he came back on a spherical, huge ship, extremely huge. You know, when Alex Collier talks about the ships of the Andromedans,
yes,
the same type of ship. It's so huge that you never see really the totality of it.
Right. So like 800, 900 miles, some of these ships that Alex has shared with us, and hollowed out asteroids. And
actually, I think it was about the size of the moon, Earth moon, when I saw it. You know, I couldn't really see the outside for very long because I was taken there on board Thorhan ship, and we approached it, and I could see from very far this bubble, this sphere, iridescent. It was like white, silvery, iridescent. That's when it's from a higher density. We approached, and then well, I was speaking with Thorhan and someone else that was on board, and then I ended up to be teleported on Enki's ship. So I didn't really see the approach and coming in. I was just teleported on it. I was first. I was put a smart suit with a frequency belt because I was going to be physically in a higher density. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Again, just going slow so we can cover all the details. There's thoughts that may come up in people. You talk about density, that Enlil and Enki came from a certain density before they went to genetic modification on Orion and Sirius B. But what density did they, because some people are obsessed with density, what density did they come from?
So sixth regarding density. To our scale, yes.
Regarding to our stuff. And if you were to ask what planet they came from, does that have relevance?
That's very relevant. They come from a higher density. So bear with me. They are in a higher density as we are. Okay. But also they are in another parallel dimension. Okay. So in their other parallel dimension, in the place of the Sirius system, is a star system that is like the double of Sirius star systems, which is called Imaru. So this has, I think it has 8 planets around, and I'm gonna give a scoop here.
Mm.
We've all heard about Nibiru, the planet of the Annunaki. Well, the planet where they come from it's not named Nibiru. It's named Ashtari. And Ashtari is a Syrian name. That's very interesting. Ashtari. What is Nibiru? Well, Nibiru is a ship. That's how Nibiru can travel space-time. And, you know, people who say that the Anunnaki planet is traveling in deep space, it's complete scientific nonsense. A planet needs to be at the right orbit distance from its star to gather the condition for life. If it's a few hundreds of miles away or closer, maybe life will not develop or develop differently. So imagine now a planet, rogue planet, or that has a kind of orbit, rogue in the void, no life can develop. It's a dead rock. So people who say that the planet of the Anunnaki is traveling through space, it's misinformation. They don't know. In fact, it's impossible. And the explanation that I was told and shown is that Nibiru is a spaceship, not the size of a planet, but a little planet like a moon.
Very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. On June the 25th, 2022. And you are working on a book, another book, with all of this information and so much more. This is simply one incredible topic around a man, a being known as Enki. So, continuing on, when you were teleported, again, for those that think they're watching a documentary on Star Trek or Deep Space, whatever, and how it was made, you're forgiven. It does feel like that sometimes, doesn't it? It really, really does. It's like, for me, sometimes if I hadn't physically seen the people that you speak about, if I hadn't physically seen Thorhan, Valnek, Commander Ardana, and Annex, myself, sometimes I've thought I'm going bonkers. Do you know what I mean? So again, for you guys out there, if you're new to it, just bear with us, because this story is the story of your human Earth history, and it's in time for everything to be filled in, all the details to be filled in. Those who've never heard about how to actually be teleported, Elena. So Thorhan is your Pleiadian rescuer. He's one of the Pleiadians that rescued you from the Greys, who were doing terrible things to you as a 9-year-old baby girl. He rescued you, and from that time, you've been connected with the Pleiadians. So you're very close with Thorhan. He's a main protector for you. So you're saying that you were with Thorhan, and was Annex there at the time when you were then going to be taken to meet with Enki for the second time?
No. Annex wasn't there. There was another person from the Intergalactic Confederation. I'll describe his race in my book and with drawings. I never seen a being like this before, and he was of the same. He was of the same density as Enki, was a 6th density. So I think there was a reason for that. And he's a commander in the Intergalactic Confederation. So it was interesting encounter. So that was who was on board. And yes, I was teleported.
So what does it feel like? So you were on one of the intergalactic confederation ships. I've actually seen one out here in the back. Remember I told you, I described it. It was kind of like, it was obviously otherworldly. It was such an amazing experience. Yes. So the Intergalactic Confederation are people from, again, a different density. It's not like the Galactic Federation of Worlds, it's the intergalactic. And when they came, the message that came through me was, we are with you. We are with you. So you've gone with Thorhan, you're on board one of these beautiful extra advanced craft. and then you know you're going to be teleported. Did you know you're going to be meeting Enki, or was it a surprise? And how did you teleport? What does it feel like to be teleported?
Actually, I didn't know. I was taken. It was a surprise, and Thorhan knew because when he told me, well, we approached this ship, and I thought it was an Andromedan ship, and I was, oh yeah, I've never been aboard an Andromedan ship, yeah. And he said, no, it's not an Andromedan ship. He said, you're gonna meet with Enki, and then I went like, not like excited, like, oh my god. And then Thoran said, calm down, otherwise you're not going to be able to transfer. And I went, transfer like teleportation. And I was teleported.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't even finish my word teleportation. I must have said shun.
Wow. Oh my God.
Anyway,
well,
that was like,
before we get there, because this is just so exciting. So you were instantly teleported. Were you in a certain room? Were you standing on a certain pad like we've seen on Star Trek, for example? Or is it different to that, Elena? Particularly because you're on a more advanced craft at this point.
Yes, you need to be on you can be teleported like that, but they rather do it from, they have teleport pads. So it's a disc on the floor and with a ring around. Then the ring lights up and it just deconstruct your molecular structure and reconstruct it. It's by quantum transfer. It's not like in Star Trek where the molecules travel. No, it's quantum teleportation. So you disappear from one place and you reappear on the other one, but there's no transfer in between. So how it feels, it's very quick. It's like you feel actually the molecules of your body being disintegrated, not disintegrated, disconstructed. And that feels like millions, billions of trillions of little needles, pins,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very short. It's very short, and you hear a noise like, I can't reproduce it. I don't know, you hear a certain noise and you're there, suddenly you're there and you feel the needles, and it's very, very, very quickly, and there's a big flash of light and your eyes need to readapt, you take a good big breath and your vital functions need a few seconds to just catch up. But that's how it feels.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so you're teleported instantly. You're on board this amazing craft, and there again is Enki.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, I was in a big room filled with bright light, and my eyes need to adapt for a few seconds. It was so big that I couldn't see any walls or ceiling, but I was on the ground solid. It was tiled floor, white, translucent, and in the light in front of me, the air smelled different as well. I had a smart suit, so it creates a shield and kind of a field around me that modify, adapt the atmosphere and the pressure and the gravity. The gravity was higher in this ship, well, lighter. I'm lighter, but with the suit comes gravity boots, so the boots really stick to the ground. But I could feel in my body, that even if my feet were stuck on the ground, I could feel lighter. Anyway, and then Enki came out of the light, and it was actually magnificent. He, very tall, slim, royal. He moves very gracefully and slowly. And he came here, and he was wearing a big mantle, like a robe, very long, made with the fabric was like red velvet. It wasn't velvet, of course, but it looked like red velvet, and it was undulating. And you know, the first thought that came to my mind seeing this huge red velvet dress was blood, the bloodlines.
Ooh.
And on this dress there were a lot of golden embroidered symbols everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. It was like, you know, embroidered. And I couldn't see first this what these symbols were, but when I got the opportunity to see from closer, I could see it was geometrical symbols and very complicated things. So what I sensed were like DNA and codings and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very beautiful. He had these beautiful eyes, and he said, "Welcome on my ship." And we started a conversation. He said that he wanted to see me, that I can pass on, transmit a conversation to the people of Earth. He said, "You will record this conversation and tell them what we've spoken about." I think the reason why he wanted to talk to me is that since I told about my first encounter with him in September 2021,
Yeah.
people have been coming forward to counter it and to say, Enki is evil, is like fallen angel, demon thing, you know. And also I had that with the 9 as well, the 9 collective, the beautiful 9 collective.
That was so fun, wasn't it? With all that nonsense.
Oh yes,
like,
every time
the
I
9 are satanic, the Council of 9, they're Satanists, like everyone, like, you know, all the dolly birds came out. Yeah.
It means that I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So maybe what I thought he wanted to tell me all the things that I bring them back, and I cut this misinformation. Of course, all the details will be in my book. I spent 2 hours with him, but I'm not going to tell you the 2 hours conversation. But briefly, he reminded me who he was, where he was from, and what happened on Earth. And he told me the history of Earth. I thought we spoke by telepathy. His lips weren't moving, but I was hearing his male voice in my head. I thought at a stage, I went, okay, I'm not going to remember all of this because now it's been already half an hour. Well, I thought so. I know what, of course. And I thought, I'm not going to remember all of this. Well, you know, damn it, I just enjoyed the conversation. And of course, we were in telepathic connection, and he said, you will remember. And actually I did. When I came back, I tuned in with Thorhan, and because I have this device in me that allows me to communicate, the device had recorded everything.
Yeah.
So I could replay and write everything. That was amazing. But it has happened many times.
Many times you just have instant recall, you know, and that's beautiful. Otherwise, that's why you're an emissary, you know, for information. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that people will be at this point definitely thinking. That one question is, how do you know that you are not some kind of implant, disinfo agent, programmed hobot? That does make me laugh. I'm sorry, it's funny, hobot. You know,
this word, is that a new one?
Yeah, hobot. You know, it's not robot, hobot. You know, we have to amuse ourselves. Très amusé, chérie. So, you know, someone could say Elena Danaan's completely bonkers. She's a muppet for the Greys, and you know, and she's been, you know, zapped on board to speak to Enki because he's really going to take over the planet. Like, so how do you know? I mean, I know, and you're my friend, I love you dearly. I stand shoulder to shoulder with you to the ends of the earth, as we've done before. But those that genuinely want to know, how do you know that you are not being used?
Well, because I know my life, I know what has happened to me, I know who I am. And all the contacts I have had were very revealing. And everything I see, I say and I repeat to the people is been confirmed a little bit after by world events. And also, the place I come from is a place of help and love. And if people follow me for a while, they know my work. They know who I am.
They really do. When Enki was speaking telepathically to you, which is very, very common, vastly common amongst all species, there's no language barrier, only on this bloody planet, but there's no language barrier. Could you describe the kind of voice he had? Was it velvety? Was it chocolate? Was it this? Was it that? And what kind of accent could you align his vocals with?
He had an accent, actually. Yes. So the language that is set for me is English. Well, I speak slowly English, and people sometimes can say I have a weird way of talking, but I'm French. I was born in French. I speak 7 languages, and English is not my mother language. So I always need to think my words and speak slowly, so that's the explanation. But what was the question?
What kind of accent? What kind of tone
Oh,
of
the
voice?
accent.
Tone of voice
Yes.
and accent. Yeah.
Very sweet. Very interestingly sweet and masculine. I couldn't give an age to his voice, but he has kind of yes, Middle Eastern accent, rolling R's, not always, slightly. Like, I don't know, Persian accent. Yeah, kind of accent. Very, very nice to hear. Very soothing, very soft voice. Yes.
Beautiful. Now, when we look at the ancient images, let's say in ancient Sumeria, we see these beings, they're sitting down. And it was recently discovered and discussed that if they were to look at the men in front of them or the people in front of this seated king, let's say, that as that king would stand up, he would tower over the people there. Okay. Now, the measurement you gave us for Enki was 2 meters 50, which is about 6'6", in height. Are we looking at a true representative of the Annunaki in these images from ancient Sumeria, or are we looking at a different kind of being?
So thank you for asking this question. So first, 2 people are going to answer this. First, the emissary is going to tell you that at the time when the Anunnaki arrived on Earth, the human primates were smaller than now, and the lifespan was 20 years old about. So a being for about 6'6" would look to them like giants, but they were not. Now they would look like, okay, you're 6'6", you're a big guy, but we wouldn't tell, oh, you're a giant. But at the time, people were very, very much smaller. And so to them, they were a giant. Now, I'm going to let the archaeologist speak. The Sumerian civilization is a twin sister to the Egyptian civilization, okay? There is a codification in art, in sacred art, religious art, which is the more important you are socially, the bigger, the taller you're going to be represented on the paintings of your tomb or your palace or the temple. Kings are represented taller and bigger than the normal people, and gods are represented either the size of kings or either even taller. That is an artistic codification to say this person has a higher social status. So anywhere you look for archaeological representations, there is no real ratio with the sizes. It's a social codification.
Oh, that's very, very interesting. Now, before we get back into what questions did you actually manage and were able to ask Enki during that incredible off-planet 2-hour interactions, when you were on the ship, can you tell us what the ship look like? What did it smell like, sound like? And what did you see out of the windows, if there were windows?
I didn't see any windows. Everything was white light. The smell, it's interesting that you mentioned the smell, because it smelled a bit different, like the air was fresher or clearer and cleaner. Although the air is clean on Torrent ship, I mean, that's a different substance. Also, I had this shield, you know. But when Enki arrived, the air was ionized around him, and it smelled ozone. And then, you know, I realized afterwards, Anax smelled like ozone, but these are beings who have a very strong electromagnetic fields that ionizes the air around them. So you have this ozone smell. That's what I could smell. But, yeah, the ship was light everywhere.
But why would Enki need to ionize his fields to be physically on board his own craft when you're safe in your environmental suit, which acclimatizes with the frequency belt to the environment? But I don't understand that bit. How is that possible? Why would he need to ionize his field in that moment?
He doesn't need to. That's who he is. That's how he is. So that's a natural state of him.
To be ionized.
Yes. The air around him is slightly ionized.
Okay. All right. So for those that know nothing about ionization and ionization of fields and fields around us and frequency, why would there be something called ionization? What is that briefly?
Well, it's changed the charge in the electrons because of the electromagnetic radiation. So the charge is changed in the electrons. So the ions are getting a bit mad, and that's what is ionization. And that's the way I can explain it.
Okay, we're going to get into the questions that I mean, it must have been so like no warning. And then suddenly there you are with this incredible ability to have this conversation, to bring answers back for billions and billions of us that are so interested in the true history of our planet. I've got a quick one. I honestly don't care about any politicians, couldn't care less. I just love my brothers and sisters, and we're all moving forward together. And as far as I'm concerned, no one's higher than anyone else. That's where I come from. So when I ask this question, are there any particular humans on the planet or hybrids, whatever, that he referred to, deferred to, or mentioned as anybody that would be considered, you know, noteworthy, let's say?
Yes, we had, that was part of our conversation. Enlil had his own bloodlines. And, you know, after the end of the conflict, when Enlil won the conflict and Enki just withdrew, Enlil had his geneticists to create hybrids from his own blood. And these hybrids have been in the earth history throughout royal bloodlines to until nowadays. There's been a Sika reptilian also input in these bloodlines, but that's another story. So yeah, then Kim mentioned his half brothers' genetic lineage.
Are you allowed to, I know there's a lot coming out in your book, and we're obviously in the middle right now of complete and utter disclosure. But is there anything else you could say? You said royal bloodlines. Are we talking about all the royal families on our planet currently that we're aware of?
No, there's 13 families. Not all are royals, but when I say royals, it's not actually monarchy, present-day monarchy. It's royal from the royalty of Enlil, because he was a prince, you know. Is still alive? I asked. He is still alive, but he's now being defeated, so he's not working in the shadow background anymore. That's why Enki is back, otherwise he wasn't allowed to come back, you know. So royal in the sense, royal Annunaki blood. There are lineage from Enki, who is also a royal prince, who are also royal Annunaki lineage. but positive ones.
Are you allowed to mention any names?
No, we do. Oh, yeah. Yes. Well, the lineage that Enki put his DNA into was the lineage of Adamu, and the lineage of Adamu was gave the famous lineage of the patriarchs who lived, each of them several hundred years. And this lineage of patriarchs had one very historical character who was Yeshua. We know him as Jesus. And Yeshua has also then bloodlines, lineage. You know, he married, he had a child and
Sarah,
daughter, Sarah. And yes, I know a lot about that. In French, I was interested in that. And there are some there's a French royal lineage, which is descendant from this lineage, and that has the royal blood of Enki.
Oh my word, I know there's just so much exciting information that we could impart here, and it is coming, it's there, we have the information, the story is done, written, collected, and Elena Danaan, you're just so amazing and beautiful to be bringing forward the timeline on delivering some of this information, and we're just so excited to hear more. I just want to sit back, put you on full screen, and just have you share as much of the actual one-to-one conversation. It was a private conversation, right? It was just you and Enki in the room. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Everyone out there, let's take a deep breath and listen to more of this incredible, real information.
Enki wanted to pass this message that people must not be fooled and know who the enemy is and know who the helpers are. He wanted me to tell you that his story was a story of love, a love story for the human species. He did all he could to save the humans of Terra, of Ki, as he calls it. And after doing all he could, he managed to save the lineages, some of the lineages he had created, but also he saved the template of the original human DNA. And he's back to implement this template into the new technology, the new medical technology that is coming to repair the alterations of the human DNA of Earth. The Earth humans had at the start 12 strands of DNA activated, and it has been blocked by Enlil and his people. The lineage of the patriarchs, the sacred blood, the song Grail, the Grail, actually he said to me, I'm bringing back the Grail. These people are the surviving heritage of Enki, Prince Ea. They are royalty, and they are not, none of them are actually into part of the existing monarchies, political monarchies. All of these people, these lineages, are in the background. They are the ones who are activated. They are the ones who have the psychic powers. The power of healing is the greatest power. Why the greatest power of these people is healing? Because they have, their DNA has the ability to repair other people's DNA. That's how they heal naturally. And they are able for miracles, to do miracles with their capacities of healing. Enki is back with the Grail, the royal blood, the royal template, the sacred blood. And this, he has given it to the Intergalactic Confederation, the Seeders, who have given it to the people working in different facilities in this star system. And the biggest is the moon, where all the medbeds are being mass produced at the moment. As you know, the moon was liberated in February 2021. And now the Earth Alliance and the Galactic Federation of Worlds are working on the moon. And so this template is going to be re-implemented in human DNA to repair all the abuse and the damage that has been done to us. It has already started, this operation of repair, and it's slowly coming. It will come public. Well, Enki is back with the Grail. But the quest is not over. We need now to chase our own demons out of this planet. The human demons. And if the Galactics are letting us do that by ourselves, it's because they know we are able to. You are never given a mission you're not able to do. They know we will make it. And they are all here to watch the apotheosis, the victory of humans of Earth. Well, you know, there's been a lot of deception all this time, but it is over. It is over. And more in this last battle, the next 2 years are the last battle. And there's going to be more and more misinformators who have been programmed that are going to come and pop out of nowhere. Watch their narratives. It is fear-based. It is telling you that you need to do nothing and the cosmic event is going to awaken you, or we're all gonna die, and etc. All of this is a normal process. So Enki loves you, all of you, you know, all the humans of Earth. He is pure compassion. He showed me the geometrical keys of the universe. This is very beautiful. I want to say embrace the flower of life. It is the key of your own life and your own future. And always go forth with love.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, you know me, and I'm just going to go right there. I know, and I know you. But, you know, I'm just going to go right there. You know, that was beautiful, and I thank you with my heart. I'm sure there's many people that are moved by that. But can I just say, as a woman in this body, in this lifetime, I'm so fed up with the bloody patriarchal. Now, we've got two brothers potentially here. So one has now been, you know, usurped by the other. So we have this beautiful presence, Enki, right? I mean, I'm over it, man. I'm over the gods. I'm over the males. I'm over this one's in control and that one's in control. I want to kick all their asses. What did those two brothers think? What the hell do they think they were doing? Coming to my planet, your planet, our planet, and messing things up. Then having their little bloke do the most heinous, atrocious, darkest things that people can't even imagine. And I honestly hope most of the planet doesn't find out truly what's been going on and what's happening and what's being deleted. But so you're saying that Enlil is still alive in some form or other. How do we know that bollock chop knobhead isn't going to escape from his galactic prison and try and do the same thing again?
Apparently he's neutralized. I don't know how or where.
Neutralized.
But neutralized. He cannot harm people of Earth anymore. That is all I know.
you know, I'm very strict. I'm a qualified children's nanny, nursery nurse. And I want to say to both of those brothers, you stand in the corner for 10,000 years with your hands on your head. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sure, sorry, go ahead.
There's something I want to say that is very important regarding to the patriarchal matriarchal problem, duality. People say, oh, the Pleiadians are matriarchal society, oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay. When a civilization reaches a certain level in consciousness, they stop with that. They have no more male-female competition. There's no more matriarchal, patriarchal. There's just a society. So, for instance, I take this example of people who say the Pleiadian society first, which does them, you know, is matriarchal. If there is a matriarchal society, yet been at, you know, it's not the ones I know. When you reach a certain level in consciousness, the male-female thing is just equal. It just doesn't matter. If a male or a female drives a spaceship, whatever. If a male or a female is king or queen or ruler, whatever. You know, there is no more patriarchal. There is just be, is, I am. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, that's a point I want to say.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, because, you know, I'll speak on behalf of a lot of people that I know for a fact. We're so over being told what to do, following the rules. No, we all rule together. We plan together. We decide together. That's how our planet is being and becoming. You know, there's no more this person's in charge and that person's in charge. No. Well, that's how you get into trouble, obviously. I'm surprised that the non-leadership didn't get that the last time. You know what I mean? So it's lovely to hear, because, you know, I'm sure people will think, well, if Endel can break out of, you know, I mean, come on, you know, we're a beautiful beingness, we're evolving consciously. The history of our planet is literally being rewritten. Many different people are being exonerated for the dreadful lies and disinformation that's been put on them. And as we move forward, I personally would love to, you know, just let people know that it's not going to be like it was, because I, for one, am definitely not. I'm kicking galactic ass right across this galaxy and all the others. You know, I'm not putting up with it for a second more. And there are billions of us that feel the same way. We're just not. And you know that. And so it's lovely to get the messages and see the insight through your eyes, because you've actually been there, you know. And I'm not being disrespectful, of course, but I'm going to stand, I'm going to use my voice, I'm going to question every single thing, as we should. It's our right. Don't just roll over and go, oh, well, Elena's one of my best mates in the world. I believe everything she says. The fact that I do, but I'm still pushing and asking and feeling, does this feel right? Does it resonate? Do I trust this? You know, it's time to lead ourselves as individuals. You know, and if we question something and we're wrong, that's okay too. That's learning, isn't it? That's learning. There'll be a lot of people extremely happy that you said Adamu, and Yeshua. Sorry, please continue.
First, I want to honor your integrity. That's why you're my friend, because your integrity is fantastic. So yes, Adamu is the forefather of Yeshua.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. You know that painting, Michelangelo, it's a painting that everybody on the planet has been imprinted with, just like the birth of Venus, Botticelli's birth of Venus. But the creation of Adam is, you know, this image of God coming out the clouds and reaching a finger across this beautiful male specimen, Adam, and connecting that spark, you know.
That Bianchi.
That was what I was going to ask you. Like, how, you know, because these things have been imprinted, of course, but there's so many that turn the opposite way and turn it into fear. Oh, darling, are you okay?
So now, yes, because now we're touching the core of the stuff. If we start to talk about God, oh, my cat responds. Come on.
Is that Andromeda saying, Mummy, let's just stop here? This is enough for now. Do we think it's enough for now, Lainey?
Well, I just want to say that what Enki told me is that humanity of Terra has been hidden the truth from about their real history, what really happened, by both sides. The people who rule actually the mainstream religions, who have elaborated these religions on documents, books that have been surgically, purposely selected, compound of selected text. These people don't want you to know the truth of the real history. That's why we have the library of the, big institution in Rome that is forbidden, because what's in there, it's what was brought from the library of Alexandria. Well, if we knew the real stuff, we would freak out, and it will be the end of this institution. And the good side, the good ETs, also have always avoided answering this question. True history of Earth. Why? Well, for the same reason, because we needed to be ready to get the shock, and we are ready now, because we're opening our eyes and we start to realize, hey, wait a minute, these guys are evil, there's something, a power thing going on, and and the truth is wonderful. The truth is, wouldn't say wonderful. The truth is, it's just truth. It's just what it is. So, well, it's a big thing to say it. I'm going to write. I've actually written all this conversation in my book that is about to come out. And once it's out, we can talk about it freely as many times as you want. But I need to preserve this knowledge beforehand. What happened on Earth? It's just, what happened on all planets. It's history. It's wars, fights, custodian, territorial wars. Once we will know that, it will be a big step ahead. And we are ready. It's time we know. Mm-hmm. And all these fake institutions of power
all
will
fake,
just crumble down.
Yeah. And a few asses are going to get kicked. And you were also referring to the many stolen books that a bunch of idiots took from the scriptures, the true history of Earth, the Bible, the Bible, many different books like Thomas and Mary Magdalene's own writing, and there were others there too, have been taken and put into that library, in the dungeons of a certain building in a certain country called Italy. Of course, all that's being released and undone and given back to us, the people, because it's our knowledge, not theirs to withhold. And it's interesting watching every system collapse on our planet, scary and bumpy and jumpy and depressing and, a little bit up and down around the corner. But everything is coming into alignment, and we have to be strong and hold strong. How do you recommend that people can, kind of get themselves together mentally, physically, and emotionally for this existence that we're in, this complete and utter disclosure, please?
Go within and find who you are. I mean, stop trying to listen and follow everything you hear. Stop following. Be yourself. Follow only yourself, your own path, who you are. The thing is to cut everything that scares you or confuses you. All these, these new narratives coming out to confuse you or scare you. Just come on, just cut it and go within. Who are you? Focus on that. Who are you? And everything is there. Just do that.
Mm-hmm. You mentioning all the disinformation agents, so they're everywhere now, and honestly some of them don't even realize, and I do know that No, some of them don't realize. But I would say to people out there, if someone comes up to you, especially if you've got a big old channel, you know, you've got a name or something, and they start telling you that you are literally Mary Magdalene. No, you're the only one, you're her, you know, or some other incredible historical name that's been mentioned, or the child of, or the mother of, or mother of earth, or the queen of the fairies, you know, just be careful. Just be careful. Just be careful. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, if you are that, great, good for you. What are you going to do for your brothers and sisters? You know, that's the question.
People who want to flatter your ego, that's bad sign.
Yes.
That's bad sign.
Yes.
You know, I was recently told that I was very special, and well, I'm not allowed to talk about that until it's behind. But people have, using this argument, have tried to shut me down and get me to just stop me. It didn't work. It didn't work.
Well, of course it didn't. Do they not know the kind of bird they're dealing with? Seriously, a warrior of the friggin' universe. And I can't say the name, the other name I know you from, unless you decide at some point to reveal that. And that's not my place to, but you know, it's great. People are flattering you. It's just me. I'm on my own in the mirror saying, you're very special. You know, and actually that's a really loving thing to do for self at the moment. And I'm encouraging a lot of people to do that for self. Like really.
We're all special in our ways. We're all special in our ways.
Yes, indeed. But, you know, we're not all queen of the fairies or the most hierarchical or the, oh, Elena Danaan, you're so special. We must put you in a golden casket and not let you speak to the peasants. You know, I mean, that's just so ridiculous.
You know, emissary is just my job. It's just a job like any other job. You know, I had a good learning. One day I was on board the Excelsior Thorhan spaceship, and I was with him and Ardana, High Commander Ardana. She's the commander of the battleship. And he was very friendly. They were both very friendly with each other. And then I was there. I was like, okay. And he said, what? And I said, well, you look like two good friends, but she's your higher higher officer, and on Earth, high officer and you know, the other lower grade, they don't react like this. They have like yes sir, you know. And he said, and Ardana replied to me, she said, I'm that's my job, that's just my work. I'm not superior to anyone, and I give orders, and if they choose not to do it, they don't do it, and they step back. And I have no power. They all the army, that's why they are strong and they're winning wars, because they are not tied by threatened to, you need to do the orders. If you don't want to, you don't do it. So all these armies, it's all soldiers bound, not even bound, but are here by of their free will. And they do it because they know it's just for the cause. And she's, you know, nobody's higher. It's just we have different jobs. And I learned something this day, and I love it.
That's so beautiful, and how things are meant to be, and kind of a way to model how things should be in terms of respecting. But guaranteed, if Thorhan screwed up, Ardana would kick his ass, because that is her job, and then she's got all that extra responsibility on her. Yeah, it's just incredible. Just in circling back round to Enki, who, and I love the title of this broadcast, it's I Met Enki by Elena Danaan. Because you truly, really, absolutely did in real life. And now, of course, the minute this goes out, there'll be lots of people saying, I met Enki, no, I met Enki, no, I no, I'm Enki's, you know, and that's we're going to enjoy that. That's going to be fun. And bless them all, bless everyone that needs to feel to be part of a plug-in here as we're in disclosure. But what else do you think that you might be able to offer or leave us with in terms of your meeting with him, your conversation with him, how it left you feeling, and your role as an Earth Emissary for the Galactic Federation of Worlds?
This goes very deep. You know, this incarnation I am into at the moment is just temporary mission, and I come from a group of souls who have decided to experience human evolution and human tribulation and challenges and awakening. When I met Enki, I met him as I am, at the same level. Two people who come from different places, who have different stories, who have different paths, different lives. And that is how we met and how we are meant to meet these people coming from other places. What I sensed is the immortality. When I asked Enki, how old are you? He said, we do not go by these rules of time. We are immortals. And I said, okay, the Annunaki are immortals. Explain, please. He said, not the Annunaki. Every life in the universe is immortal. The body we incarnated into is mortal, because at the moment spirit incarnates into matter, matter decays and starts to die, and there's a clock timing. He said, us, Annunaki, we have a long lifespan regarding your years, several thousands of years of your years, 7 decades of thousands of years. He said, but eventually the bodily functions just degrade, whatever the enhancement we do to them. And then, well, we have two choices. Either we follow the natural cycles of incarnation, reincarnating into a baby, but we forget and we need to recover our knowledge. And that is a bit annoying, he said. So we cracked the codes of many beings have done that. At a certain stage, you manage to do that. You can transfer your consciousness into a younger clone of your actual body. And you are immortal. Enki looks like he looked like when he came to Earth, but it's a clone of a clone of a clone. And he has his own DNA samples. So he can redo a body like the original, the copy of the original, you know? And I had the sense of immortality for myself as well, although I chose the path of reincarnations to experience it by choice. And it was two immortals having a conversation. And these, you know, this conversation I had, we will all have one day this conversation with these beings. And I can't wait for you to experience this. We are immortals, yes, that's something beautiful I gathered from this encounter. Immortality.
So beautiful, so beautiful. And again, you know, what you're gifting us again is reminding us not to be overly impressed by anything or anyone, because we need to do that reflection here, look inwards in the mirror here, and really realize, oh my goodness, we are all that is, all that was, and all that ever has been and will be in one beautiful, you know, energetic frequency. And that's what we are. Oh, Elena Danaan, I could just continue for hours and hours. I really feel that this is a beautiful insight into the great works that are coming out, and also for people who've always heard about Enki, giving them a real definitive description, his ship, the habitational essences, the smells, everything that we have never heard in this way from anyone. Of course, there are others in the past who've connected in the way past, you know, potentially, possibly, but, you know, I'm myself only aware of you, as many people coming to the information only know, you know, your deliverance of it. So the information is also coming out in your beautiful book. Are we allowed to see the title? I think you said it
The
several times.
Cedars.
I was just checking. Thank you.
The Cedars.
Do we have a date yet for the launch of this incredible piece of work?
So I rather not tell a date because I need to protect myself and to protect the knowledge in this book. So you will know it at the last moment. The moment I will publish it, I will say it. It's published because it's for to secure this project. So I would say before the end of 2022, from tomorrow to the 31st of December.
Okay.
In this time.
Lovely. I love it. And again, you know, there's this gathering of minds and souls across the planet who are coming into their disclosure, who they are, and looking and hungry. They're so hungry to connect. They feel they don't fit. They miss their staff connections, their star families. And we are inviting you guys to come and meet all of us, all of you, all of them in one place, Orlando, Florida, October 21, 22, and 23 of this year. Elena Danaan will be there in person. So will Alex Collier. We call him the commander. He is a 40-year plus veteran of Andromeda contacts. Very true. And a lot of you know who Alex Collier is. Also, Dr. Michael Salla, who is the world expert in exopolitics, what happens on planet, in military, in government. Tony Rodriguez, a super soldier. Jean-Charles Moyen, a French super soldier. Vivian Chavot, an Arcturian hybrid in a female physical body. Wait till she emits her energy frequency off the stage. And there are many more beautiful people coming. So if you want to know how you can connect, how you can find your tribe, how you can find your people, how you can be out for the first time in a long time for many different reasons, there are people coming to the event who know they are star people, star beings. They can't be out with other people normally, and they're coming for the first time to be amongst other frequencies, their own frequencies. It is an absolute shift in consciousness. This event, galacticspiritualinformers.com. This global event is the biggest and most powerful event in disclosure on our planet. So get your tickets today. Get your tickets today. Get your hotel rooms all in the same hotel. And let's all meet, let's all have fun, and let's all enjoy more information that we cannot share on BoobTube and other handled and managed platforms. But we certainly won't be holding anything back at the galacticspiritualinformers.com. Closing words, my love.
Be who you are and stop listening to people telling you who you might be. You only know who you are, where you come from, and why you're here. Nobody is going to do the job for you. No one is going to wake you up. No one and no cosmic event or solar or whatever event is going to wake you up. You have to do the job yourself. You know, you need to, that's the point. That's the point. And if we are still facing physical, political, social challenges on Earth, it's because it's part of the game. It's part of the process. We need to go through this to transmute the lead into gold. We are the alchemist, and we need to do it ourselves. If we do not do it ourselves, well, think of the butterfly, the chrysalis. I know it's a bit far-fetched, but it is what it is. You've been this caterpillar for a long time, not knowing you were a butterfly quantumly in the future. What's happening now? We are in the chrysalis. Nobody can, from outside, modify the caterpillar into a butterfly. The caterpillar needs to go throughout his own process. Nobody can do it for him. But there's something else as well. If you want to, you see a caterpillar trying to fight to get out. and you help it getting out by cracking the chrysalis and letting him out to help him. It dies. Why? Because the challenge, the ordeal, the pain, the caterpillar, well, the new butterfly is going through to pierce through the chrysalis, the matrix, that switches on its blood pressure, and his heart starts to beat, and it needs the challenge. It needs to suffer to go through the matrix to be able to fly. That is what the transformation of the human consciousness is going through at the moment. Nobody is going to do the job for you. You need to do it. It is the shamanic dark night of the soul. It is a shamanic transformation. It's a rite of passage into adulthood. And now that's the shaman talking. Be who you are. Embrace your path. Even if it hurts, it's part of the process. Find a higher vibration within you. It will help you ease all the worries, all the pains. Because one day, in the future, the near future, because the future is human, no gray hybrids in the future. In the future, the humans of Terra, fully activated, fully awakened, will be the ones who will teach other beings in this universe. We will be the elders. We will be the teachers, because we will have grown up and because we will have learned. And so just embrace it and trust.
Fabulous. That was very well put. And the analogies that you expressed and the way that you were exuding that on-planet, off-planet frequency that you imbue, I think a lot of people are going to be very aware of that just happening. And isn't it amazing that we are all, as we get lighter and lighter in our own bodies and our own frequency, we are now more able to literally feel resonance, long distance resonance on many different levels. So many of us are recognizing more telepathic abilities. There's so much switching on and evolving in us. And I love the caterpillar, if we try to help it, we can kill it. So
yes,
it answers a lot of questions for a lot of people. Thank you, my darling. Can't wait to get this out for the people and have them really become more and more excited about what's happening and how.
And I can't wait to meet everyone in Orlando, Florida, 21st to 23rd of October. And I just can't wait, because it will be the first time for me giving a public conference. My first time in the States. So wow, I'm so excited. And I'm going to meet the other contactees and SSP experiencers, and that's going to be quite mind-blowing. I'm going to meet you, Dani.
I know, physically meet me again.
So I can't wait that we all meet there, and that's going to be exceptional. Yeah. There are people who have trying to stop it, but you can't stop what is going to happen. So see you there.
Yes, absolutely. See you there. Nothing will stop what is happening, everybody. Thank you, Elena Danaan. Love you, love you, love you. And to you guys out there, thank you so much for spending time with us. I'm really sure that this is going to answer some questions and make you feel just that little bit better. And I send you my love, and I'll see you soon.